All right, so welcome here, and I'm Shirley Kessel, and I am also the executive director of Miles for Migraine. I hope you will check us out and go to our website when you're finished because we have some resources there on mindfulness. And you know what? I'm going to have to just use my phone. Okay, so tonight I am going to do some sharing with you about what mindfulness is and what it isn't. And we are also going to do some practice because really the best way to learn about mindfulness is to actually practice. So you don't really need to see me. You really are just going to spend most of the time listening to what I am saying. And why don't you now, if you have a moment, I see I have this fan in the background. Is it bothering anybody's vision? Because I can see it in my rear view mirror. I am going to do two practices with you this evening, and I'm also going to do a little presentation about what mindfulness is, what it isn't, and why we use the practice of meditation. We will be doing some practice this evening, so if you are doing anything that you're not comfortable with right now, take a moment and go find yourself a comfortable seat. We'll be doing that in about 5 minutes. The first thing I'm going to do is if you can take a screenshot of this and you can refer to it during the presentation, if you can see this, or I will be holding it up throughout the presentation. I was not expecting to be on my phone, so it's probably not the easiest thing to see. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because this is a really easy synopsis to further understand what mindfulness is. And we're going to especially be practicing this evening. The acronym is CARE. So the first, and you can write this down if you can't see what I just put up. The first letter of the acronym is C, and that stands for check-in. So you can even, it's upside down. Someone told me it was upside down. You can even check in right now with how you're feeling in this moment. We're going to be doing that through the practice this evening. And the first part about checking in is always asking the question, what's here now? And so what is here in your present state of mind? And how are you feeling right now in this moment? And some of us might be feeling actually not so great. We might be having a bad migraine day. Full disclosure, I just woke up from a nap about an hour ago. I had a really bad migraine day today, and it was a 10, which I don't always get, but I did. So when I check in with myself right now, I'm feeling so, not great. And one of the things that we often do when we are having problems with chronic illness is that we constantly listen to the voice in our head. And that's where a lot of thoughts come in about, what happens when a migraine's about to hit me? What kind of fear level is coming up for me right now because I don't want to make plans with my friends or family for fear of having a migraine attack. And so the checking in part is a really important thing to first check in and see what's happening in your experience. The next part of the acronym is the letter A, which stands for allow. So one of the things that we also sometimes have a difficult time doing is allowing the moment to be just as it is because we want it to be different. We don't want to have a migraine attack. We don't want to have to miss social events that we keep missing. We don't want to have to quit our job. And so it's a really hard piece of this whole care philosophy is allowing the moment to be just as it is. So we're going to work on that a little bit in practice this evening. And the third letter in the acronym of CARE, caring for yourself with mindfulness, is respond. And so you can ask yourself the question in your practice, and also when you are taking mindfulness into your life, the idea is to take the practice from your seat, which is sometimes what we refer to when we're sitting in mindful meditation, taking the practice from your seat to your life. And you can use this all throughout the day, not just when you're doing meditation practice. And the question you want to be asking yourself is, what's needed now? And I'll be guiding you with some of these questions this evening, so don't feel like you have to write them down. I will actually also put this information up on the Miles for Migraine website tomorrow because of my technical difficulties. So what's needed now? And you can sometimes ask yourself that question in the moment of having an attack or just throughout the day. So for example, do I need more rest? Do I need a distraction? Because, I've had this attack and it's been going on for days. And I've actually had an attack that's been going on for about 10 days right now. It's not been an easy thing. Sometimes for me, I need to just get out onto the beach. I'm lucky that I am actually here at the beach this week, that last 2 weeks, and I can get out there and go for a walk, and it's distracting for me. You can ask yourself, what's needed now? Do I need to take meds? Do I need to even find a new job because this isn't working out for me? And the last part of the acronym in the CARE, the C-A-R-E acronym, is the word embody. And so how much is enough is really what the question is that we're asking in this moment. When you begin to embody this practice of mindfulness, what you will come to learn is that by checking in with yourself throughout the day and while in practice, you begin to embody the sense of really what mindfulness is. And what you'll notice, and people who have been practicing for a long time will share with you, that it becomes an automatic reflex. I don't even have to do the acronym anymore. I'm just constantly aware of what's happening for myself moment to moment. And that is the embodying piece of using mindfulness in your life. So, thank you, Katie. Just put up on there, care, check in, allow, and looks like she put in respond and embody. What a good student you are. Thank you. Big thank you to Katie Golden in Santa Monica, California. So what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to do a little bit of practice with you. And the first practice we're going to do is checking in with what might be happening with you as you begin to experience a migraine attack, or perhaps you are experiencing what you often hear from friends, families, co-workers. So let's do this. Why don't we take a moment right now and get settled into a comfortable seat? I will be actually closing my eyes during the practice because I'm going to be doing a meditation with you. And I am going to recommend that you also think about closing your eyes. If for some reason that is not something you feel comfortable doing right now, that's okay. In yoga, we say find a dristi, which is find a point someplace that you can lightly rest your eyes in a downward gaze and just keep your moment of concentration there. And don't be afraid, this is not gonna hurt, or we're not gonna do anything crazy. So let's try right now by sitting in an upright, comfortable position and finding yourself with eyes closed, or simply resting your eyes onto a spot in front of you on the floor or on the wall. And starting now with checking in. Check in right now. The first letter in the acronym is C, to check in. And ask yourself the question, what's here now? What's happening right now in my mind, in my body? And we'll start with the body. We'll notice where the feet are in relationship to how we're sitting. So noticing if you're sitting in a chair, where you're making connection with the floor, with the feet, or wherever they may be. And then checking in with the backs of the legs, if they're making contact with a chair. Just notice right now where your legs, the backs of your legs, are making a connection. And then notice your seat. Notice where the buttocks are sitting in relationship to the rest of your body, noticing the pressure of where you're making contact. And now checking in with the hands and allowing the hands to either rest gently in your lap or bringing the palms of your hands onto your thighs and noticing the connection and what's happening right now as you connect your hands to your thighs. And so as we check in with the body, we also want to check in with the mind and notice right now what's happening in the mind. What seems to be the quality of your thoughts? Are they racing? Do you feel sluggish? Perhaps you feel tired. Just noticing what kinds of thoughts are coming into your mind right now. And generally speaking, we are usually going into the past or the future. We are rarely present in the present moment. And so if you check in with your mind, you might be noticing what happened today during your day. You might be thinking about what you're going to do next once this presentation is over. So allow your mind to be just as it is. And you can actually say to yourself, when you notice where the mind is, whether it is thinking in the past, whether it is thinking in the future, whether your thoughts are coming in quickly or slowly. So again, checking in with what's here now. The first question, what's here now? And now, as we are somewhat settled in this moment, I'm going to ask you a few questions. And the only thing you have to do is pay attention. You don't have to do anything or think anything or change your breathing. Just simply allow yourself to notice what happens when I ask you these questions. Imagine yourself right now in a situation that you have been in the past where someone that you know, or perhaps you don't know, says something to you such as, "Oh, I have migraine. When I have a migraine, I just take blank. I take something and it makes me feel better." Or perhaps someone has said to you, "Maybe you should try yoga. Maybe you should try essential oils. Oh, I know what works for me. And if only you would just reduce your stress, your migraine would be much better." Maybe you should try slowing down. Maybe you should allow yourself to have more rest. You know, when I take migraine, I just take some Excedrin migraine, and that works great for me. Okay, so notice right now, check in again with yourself, noticing what thoughts and feelings are coming up around those questions that we've all heard these questions before. As you check in now, allowing a sense of acceptance. Allow yourself to feel what's happening right now as you imagine those past moments of people who have said things to you, have made suggestions to you, and if you want, you can type them into your screen. So you can open your eyes right now, and somebody has written that Leanne is feeling tension and anger. And so I'm going to take a moment to allow you to type this information in, because this is really important. This is the part of the CARE acronym, is when we want to move into the R of responding. How do we respond to moments like this? This is what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is paying attention in the present moment without judgment. And so I'm going to say that again, because this is the most important thing that you can take away this evening. If you don't take away the acronym and it seems confusing, that's okay. Take with you this definition of what mindfulness is. It's paying attention in the present moment without judgment. And the judgment is the part that we get hung up on. Kathy is writing, she feels jealous that it may be easy for someone and not her. Somebody is writing that they're tired, and Melissa's saying angry when people are asked that. Mara is saying resentment, anger, frustration, disappointment. Okay, so did anybody have a positive experience when we just did that little mini meditation? So the takeaway message is that we can pay attention to these moments and learn how to respond. And that's what we're going to do in the next meditation. And before we do that, I just want to bring in some more definition of what mindfulness is and what it is not. And there's a really big trend right now that people are learning mindfulness. There was actually a study that was done in the School of the Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, which is a model that was developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and it was actually founded at the University of Massachusetts Medical Center, and now it's actually being used in over 250 medical settings in the country. And so if one thing you might want to consider is if you are having a bad experience with pain and managing your pain, you might want to think about taking a class in MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, and you can actually find those resources on the Miles for Migraine website under resources. And the other thing I want to mention is the reason we use meditation in the mindfulness practice is because it really gives us the opportunity to slow down and see what's happening in our mind in the present moment. Because so many times, as we just found, we're either in the past or in the future, and we're not present with our present experience. And the first thing that most of us want to do when we feel an attack coming on is escape. We want to get out of our body. We want to get as far away as possible as we can. We don't want to even deal with having this migraine experience. And I know for myself, being in chronic pain, I would give anything not to have this experience. But what I've allowed myself to do is to really work with the acronym of CARE and allow, and acceptance is a really huge word. It's hard for a lot of people to actually use this word. So we use the word allow instead of acceptance, to allow your experience to be just as it is. Meditation is not clearing your mind, much to what the general public seems to think it is. It's actually just the opposite. And this is what makes it so great, is meditation is the opposite of clearing your mind. It's actually watching your mind, and it's watching your mind with that non-judgmental awareness that you can allow, the A in the acronym, allow to whatever's coming up in that moment to be in your experience, and learn how to respond. So with that said, we are going to do a little more practice, and we are going to practice for about 5 minutes. And if that seems too long for you, it's okay. You can actually open your eyes at any time and come back into the room. So let's shift now as we go into some more practice using the CARE acronym, the checking in, the allowing, the responding, and the embodiment of this practice. Someone's writing here, don't dwell, accept, allow, and release. Very good, Patty. I like that. And someone's writing in that they use yoga. Yoga is helpful. I used to teach yoga, and it really helps a lot of people. Just doesn't take away your pain. That's not what mindfulness is. It's not about taking away the pain. It's about learning how to work with the pain. Okay, and the other symptoms too, because it's not just about pain. It's about so much more. So let's close our eyes again, if that feels comfortable to you, and checking in again with how you're feeling in this moment, noticing if there's any residual from the last practice that we did that may have brought up some difficult emotion, difficult thoughts about feeling angry about your situation, when people say things to you, when you feel stigmatized. That is internal stigma, and noticing how the words that we say to ourselves affect the rest of our life in every single moment of the day. So now just allow yourself allow, settle in. See if there's any tight holding places in your posture right now, and allow yourself to shift, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to shift my posture a little bit, and checking in as we practice the process of care, checking in with the present moment, noticing emotions and labeling them. Are they positive? Are they negative? How are you feeling right now? So allow yourself to come up with one word about how you feel right now in this moment, and then just put that aside and just know that it's there. And now check in with the sensations in your body. Mindfulness is about checking in with sensations, emotions, and thoughts. Those are the three things that we are constantly working with in the field of awareness. So noticing sensation in the body. If you notice any negative sensation, just now put your awareness on some place in your body where perhaps there's no sensation. I generally find that the hands and the feet are generally a place where there's not negative sensation happening in most moments. And if you are feeling sensation of negative sensation right now, such as pain in your head, which is what I'm feeling at about a 5, notice what it's like to put your attention there just for a moment, and then come back to the feeling of where you feel no sensation or limited sensation or reduced pain sensation, and allow yourself to come right there. And now finally checking in with thoughts again, thoughts about this practice, thoughts about the future, the past of the day, and just notice where the mind is right now as you put your attention on those thoughts. We're working with sensation, emotion, and thought. And now we are going to bring our attention onto just breathing. So allow yourself right now to place your attention just on the breath without changing it, without manipulating it. Simply breathing in, noticing how the chest rises on an inhale and the chest drops on an exhale, and staying with this moment of simply responding. We are responding right now to this present moment of mindfulness, responding by noticing our breath, noticing how the air is coming cool on an inhale into the nostrils and warmer on an exhale if you are breathing through your nostrils. And allowing the body to settle in to simply feeling right now where the breath is most prominent in your body, and it's different for everyone. So notice where your breath is, and notice as you inhale and exhale where the mind goes. The mind is constantly judging everything we do. It's going into the past, the future. It's going into negative thoughts about our current chronic pain, our current migraine situation, whatever it is. Allow the mind to come right back just to the sensation of breathing. So simply breathing in, breathing out, and allowing yourself right now to take in just 3 deep breaths in your own time. Just do this on your own. As you inhale and as you exhale, noticing where the breath is prominent. And every time the mind wanders, it's completely normal. Without judging yourself, simply come back to the sensation of just breathing. And if you're ready, you can now open your eyes, or you can stay right where you are in meditation pose. And take a moment right now to notice what's coming up for you. How are you feeling right now in this moment? So please take a moment to type into your Facebook feed, whatever you call that little place, if anybody can just talk about how you're feeling right now in this moment. If it's negative, that is okay. We are responding to what is happening in this moment. We are practicing embodying. This practice of mindfulness is about checking in. It's about asking yourself when you check in with kindness and curiosity. It's about curiosity. What's here now? So ask yourself, what's here now? What's here now in the field of awareness and sensation, emotion, and thought? This is what we're working with at every moment as we're practicing mindfulness. And Heidi is writing and she feels calm. Kathy is writing and she feels fatigued. And that's okay. That's how we're feeling. Sandy's writing in, yep, calm. And Queenie is writing in relaxed. And so as you practice the care philosophy behind mindfulness and you practice noticing what's happening in your present moment awareness, you begin to take this practice from your yoga mat or from your meditation seat and you bring it into your life. And you check in, you allow what's happening in the present moment to just be as it is, because we can't change the way things are all the time. Sometimes we can. We learn to respond what's needed now. Do I need more rest? Do I need distraction? Do I need medication? Do I need a new job? Do I need to talk to my friends and colleagues about how this chronic migraine or episodic migraine is affecting my life? And then the final question is, as you embody this practice, you will begin to ask yourself over and over again, how much is enough? How much is enough of not speaking up about your medical condition, about your illness, about your disease? How much is enough of feeling internalized stigma and the things that we say to ourselves, it must be my fault because I didn't drink enough water, I had too much alcohol, I have too much stress? How much is enough of allowing those thoughts to take over your life? And how much is enough of working? And how much is enough of lying in bed? And this is a really controversial topic that I'd like to perhaps do in the future, of how much is enough and finding that fine line between when do I let myself go down into the bed, into the dark room, and when do I allow myself to come up? And that is another at least 2 30-minute classes. So with that said, it is 8:30. Our time is finished. And I am so grateful that you have all joined me this evening. It means so much to me. I'm so passionate about this practice. And I know that it helps me. It does not diminish my pain, but it's how I relate to the pain. And I'm going to leave you with one final quote that I really like, and that is, pain is inevitable, suffering is an optional decision. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. So thank you. Please go to the Miles for Migraine website, take a look at our resources, and you can read more about what mindfulness is and find some great classes online. I hope you all have a great rest of the evening. Thank you.